Hey guys, it is Sophia the Shadow Hunter, and today I'm doing my October TBR. I know we're almost halfway done through the month. I'm just going to do this now. I really miss doing my book reviews for you guys and book hauls and TBRs and wrap-ups and book reviews in general. But I'm going to try to start working on that again. I just get so caught up in doing my music reviews and it can be a lot to get done at one time. But I'm going to start making a plan to be able to fit both into my filming. So let's get started. Please let me know in the comments down below what you want to read in the month in October and what you read last month and what you want to read next month. So let's get started. So the book that I'm currently reading right now, I just started reading it last night. It is In the Shadow of Statues by Mitch Landa, Mayor of New Orleans. A white Southerner confronts history. This book is very interesting, especially what has all been going on in the world this year. And with the election coming up, it's very interesting. So far, I like it. It'll be interesting to see how I end up feeling once I finish the book. It says, there is a difference between remembrance of history and reverence for it. When Mayor Mitch Landa addressed the people of New Orleans in May 2017 about his decision to take down 4 Confederate monuments, he struck a nerve nationally, forcing against the open and reckoning with institutional racism that shapes us today. Now Mayor Landa retraces his personal journey on race and the path he took to making the decision to remove the monuments. A book that looks forward as well as back in time. In the Shadow of Statues tackles the broad legacies of slavery, race, and inequality that still bed evil America. Landra recounts his relationship to the history with insight. He grew up with a progressive education in a racially divided city, but even he had to relearn Southern history as it really happened. His father, as a state legislator and then mayor, was a huge force in the integration of New Orleans in the 1960s and 1970s. Early in his own career, Landro took on David Duke in the state legislature. He became a catalyst in the historic recovery of his hometown after Hurricane Katrina, a time that had its own troubling racial component. As mayor, he deals with poverty and urban violence daily in a city that is one of the world's beloved cultural treasures. At a moment when racism is resurgent with seemingly tacit approval from the highest levels of government, and when too many Americans have a misplaced nostalgia for a time in place that never existed, this book is a necessary reading. Equal parts memoir, history, and prescription for finally confronting America's most painful legacy. In the Shadow of Statues contributes a strong voice to the national conversation about race today. It is a passionate, personal, urgent book for all Americans. If you guys like this book or books like it, please let me know what you think by in the comments down below, and also the books that are like it. It says Mitch Landa is the mayor of New Orleans. He was elected in 2010 and is now completing his second full-year term. A Democrat, Landry served as lieutenant governor of Louisiana from 2004 to 2010. He is also the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. So I'm excited to continue reading that book and see how I like it. The next book I have, which I've owned for about 2 years, and it's on my TBR for the longest time, that is Survival in the Killing Fields by Academy Award winner Hang Ignore with Roger Warner. The best book on Cambodia that has ever been published. TD Album, Chicago Tribune. Survival Endurance. It says, nothing has shaped my life as surviving the Pol Pot regime. I'm a survivor of the Cambodia Holocaust. That's who I am. He became famous throughout his Academy Award-winning performance as Dirk Pratt in the film The Killing Fields. But the key to Hang Negra's screen success was the terrible truth of his experiences and the rice paddies, and labor camps of revolutionary Cambodia. Here is the gripping memoir of life under the communist Khmer regime. He reveals the country's descent into hell beyond our imaginings, a world of war, slaves, and senseless brutality, where family life simply ceases to be. But with the pen, he also gives us hope and an illuminating example of how best sort of love can actually be strengthened through the shared experience of a life-threatening ordeal. An eyewitness account of the real killing fields by an extraordinary survivor. This book is both a remembrance of the horrors of war and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. This book sounds great. I can't wait to read it. If you guys know of any other books like this, please link them in the comments down below. Right, next I have a book that I've had also on my Goodreads probably now for going on about 5 years, and that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I'm so excited to read this book. It says, can evil that has ruled for 1,000 years be defeated? And this is a number #1 New York Times bestselling author. I can't wait to read the series and get into read more of his books. I read 2 or 3 of Brandon Sanderson's books, and I already love his writing. It says, sometimes I worry that I'm not the hero everyone thinks I am. The philosophers assure me that this is the time that the science has been met. But I still wonder if they had the wrong man. So many people depend on me. They say I'll hold the future of the entire world in my arms. When they see me, do they see a liar? Once a hero rose to save the world, he failed. For 1,000 years since, the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist, ruled by an immortal import known as the Lord Ruler. Every revolt has failed miserably, yet somehow hope survives. Hope that declares a dream of ending the empire and defeating Lord Ruler. A new kind of uprising is being planned, and that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the determination of an unlucky hero, a teenager street urchin named Vin. When a hero rose to save the world and failed, can a young hero succeed? This book sounds amazing. I can't wait to read it. Alright, next we have an awesome book which I only owned for about 10 months and I just read it, so that's not bad for me. Please let me know in the comments down below if you're really bad about buying books and reading them quickly. I've been working on that this year. I've done pretty good about that, so I'm happy about that. Next is The Conference of Birds, the 5th novel of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. This is an awesome book in his series. If you guys have not read this book, I highly recommend you guys check it out. So let me read you what it says. It says, a fragile place in a fragile piece, an apocryphal warning, chaos waiting the heart of the storm. With his dying words, Jacob's final connection to his grandfather, Abe's secret, entrusts Jacob with the mission: deliver newly contracted peculiar Nora Portis into an operative known only as V. Nora is being hunted. She is the subject of ancient prophecy, one that foretells a looming apocalypse. Save Nora, save the future of all peculiardom. With only a few bewildering clues to follow, Jacob must figure out how to find V, the most enigmatic and most powerful of Abe's former associates. But V is in hiding, and she never ever wants to be found. Time is running out, and even as Jacob and his friends are working feverishly to decipher the prophecy, its warnings, when the prisons are blown to dust and chaos reigns, are beginning. And the betrayers summon their king, the old ones from their sleep are torn to come true. An age of strife will soon be born. When enemies behind him and the unknown ahead, Jacob Portman's story continues as he takes a brave leap forward to The Conference of Birds, the newest installment of the beloved #1 best-selling Miss Peculiar Children series. Ransom Riggs is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of Miss Peculiar's Home for Peculiar Children novels. Riggs was born on a farm in Maryland and grew up in southern Florida. He studied literature at Kingston College and founded the University of Southern California. He lives in Los Angeles with his best-selling wife, best-selling author Tamara Moffat, and their family. I just recently finished that book. It was a phenomenal book. You guys check it out. Now, the next book I read is The Last Girl, My Story of Captivity and My Fight Against the Islamic State by Nadia Murad, forward by Alma Clooney. This was an amazing, gripping story. It gave me chills of how someone has gone through so much trouble, but they came out of it alive and a better and stronger person. So let me read you what it says. And I love the title for it. It's just amazing. It says, in this intimate memoir of survival, a former captive of Islamic State tells her harrowing story and ultimately inspiring story. Nadia Murad was born and raised in Kochi, a small village of farmers and shepherds in northern Iraq. A member of the Yazidi community, she and her brothers and sisters lived a quiet life. Nadia had dreams of becoming a history teacher, opening her own beauty salon. On August 15, 2014, when Nadia was just 21 years old, this life ended. Islamic State militants massacred the people of her village, executing men who refused to convert to Islam and women too old to become sex slaves. 6 of Nadia's brothers were killed and her mother soon after, their bodies swept into mass graves. Nadia was taken to Mosul and forced along with thousands of other Yazidi girls into the ISIS slave trade. Nadia would be held captive by several militants and repeatedly raped and beaten. Finally, she managed to narrow escape through the streets of Mosul, finding shelter in the home of a Sunni Arab family whose oldest son risked his life to smuggle her to safety. As a farm girl in rural Iraq, Nadia could not have imagined the world one day address the United Nations or be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. She has never been to Baghdad or even seen an airplane. As a slave, she was told by her captors that Yazzie would be erased from the face of the earth, and there were times when she believed them. Today, Nadia's story as a witness to the Islamic State's brutality, a survivor of rape, a refugee Yazzie, has forced the world to pay attention to the ongoing genocide in Iraq. It is a call to action, a testament to the human will to survive, and a love letter to a lost country, a fragile community and family torn apart by war. This book sounds great and it was amazing. You guys should definitely check it out. Next, I have also a book I've owned for a while, and I've yet to read that. That's On the Eve by Bernard Wasserstein, The Jews of Europe Before the Second World War. This is a huge book. I'll be reading this one soon. It's got my favorite roughly pages. It says, On the Eve is a portrait of a world on the brink of annihilation. In this provocative book, Bernard Wasserstein presents a new and disturbing interpretation of the collapse of the European Jewish civilization even before the Nazi onslaught. In the 1930s, as Europe spiraled towards the Second World War, the continent's Jews faced existential crisis. The harsh realities of the age of anti-Semitic persecution, economic discrimination, and ominous climate of violence devastated Jewish communities and shattered the lives of the individuals. The Jewish crisis was as much the result of internal decay as external attack. Demographic collapse, social disintegration, and cultural dissolution were all taking their toll. The problem was not just Nazism. In the summer of 1939, more Jews were behind barbed wire outside the Third Reich than within it. And not only in police states, but even the liberal democracies of the West. The greater part of Europe was being transformed into giant concentration camp for the Jews. Unlike most previous accounts, On the Eve focuses not on the anti-Semites, but on the Jews. Washington refused the common misconception that they were unaware of the gathering forces of their enemies. He demonstrates there were a growing widespread recognition among Jews that they stood on the edge of an abyss. On the Eve recaptures the agonizing sorrows and the evanescent cultural glories that in its last phase in the history of the European Jews. It explores their hopes, anxieties, and ambitions, the family ties, social relations, and intellectual creativity, everything that has made life meaningful and bearable for them. Wasserstein introduces diverse arrays of characters: holy men, hucksters, beggars, and bankers, politicians and poets, housewives and harlots, and are an especially poignant chapter, children without a future. Their geographical range is also vast, from Villa, the Jerusalem in the north, to Amsterdam, Vienna, Warsaw, and Paris. From the Judeo-Spanglish-speaking stevedores of Laconia to Yiddish language collection that formed to Soviet Ukraine and Crimea. Wasserstein's aim is to breathe life into the dry bones, based on a comprehensive research rendered with compassion and empathy, and brought alive by telling anecdotes and dry wit. On the Eve offers a vivid and enlightening picture of the European Jews in their final hour. Bernard Wasserstein has been Ulrich and Harriet Meyer Professor of Modern European Jewish History at the University of Chicago since 2003. He's also taught at the Brandeis Glasgow University and the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. From 1996 to 2000, he was the president of the Oxford Center for Hebrew and Jewish Studies. His previous books include The Secret Lives of Triberish Lincoln, which was awarded the Gold Dagger for nonfiction by the Crime Writers Association, and Barbarism and Civilization, the History of Europe in Our Time. So this book sounds great. I can't wait to read it. I had a lot of books to read this month. I had 6 books, and I've already read almost all of them now. I have 3 more to read, so this month's going pretty well reading wise for me. I'm just trying to get caught up. I hope you guys like this video. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and please let me know in the comments down below what you want to read this month and next month. I hope you're staying healthy and safe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Goodbye.